Ian Scher in San Francisco, not Jessica Vassalero at all. We're going to learn about Apple setting the date on March the 7th.
Yes, so
and you look nothing like.
I'm not exactly Jessica, sorry.
You look nothing like her.
So basically, Apple put out an event, a notice that they're going to have an event at the Yerba Buena Center on March 7th here in San Francisco. It's where they announced the iPad 1 and 2. So it's kind of the place they like to do these types of things. And it's widely expected that the iPad will be, it'll have a higher resolution screen. As the Wall Street Journal reported earlier, it'll run on 4G networks and whatnot. So people are pretty excited. The stock's up a little bit as a result of that.
Okay.
So what does that mean that it's going to run on 4G networks?
So the 4G networks are kind of the next generation wireless networks that the AT&T and Verizon have been putting out. And so, as the Wall Street Journal reported earlier, they're going to, they've been designing this now to basically be able to run faster internet connections and basically download content and surf the web faster.
So does that mean, one of the things with the 3G version I've got is that it's sometimes tricky to watch movies on it unless you're on the Wi-Fi. Does that mean that the 4G will be a great movie watching device? Is that the general idea behind it?
One would think it's definitely going to help. One thing that's been a selling point of 4G in general is that it's better for multimedia and video and whatnot. In general, the iPad has become quite popular for video watching, and stuff like Hulu and Netflix are readily available on it. So one would think that it'll make it better for those types of things. I know I use Netflix and Hulu on my iPhone when I'm at the gym, and it's a little pixelated. Sometimes it doesn't go very fast, and so that's over 3G. So one would think over 4G it'll be much closer to what it's like at home with Wi-Fi.
And I should point out, we're actually looking at pictures of the iPad number 2 now, not the forthcoming one that we're expecting. Yeah. Drew, did you want to jump in?
No, well, is this seen as like on time or early for 4G for Apple? I mean, Verizon's only had its network up for basically a year, is that right?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, the only time that Apple's really done this type of wireless connection upgrade was when they went from 2.5G Edge with the original iPhone to 3G with the iPhone 3G a year later in 2008. And the thing that was interesting is back then, Apple's arguments for why they didn't have 3G, they were pretty widely panned for it, was that the power consumption was too bad, was a little rough with 3G chips, and that the technology was still nascent. And by the time they came out with the iPhone 3G, 3G had pretty much been widely spread throughout the entire United States, and it was kind of something that made sense for them. They've made similar arguments with 4G, so one would think that, the interesting thing here is that you're right. I mean, right now 4G is not widely around the United States. It's in major cities. And as we've written before, the chips are still pretty power hungry. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Apple has made a technological breakthrough, or whether they've decided to throw caution to the wind and try something that may hurt the battery life or something, or they may have come up with a better battery. We don't know.
Okay. We don't know. And apparently we've got a picture of the invite that was sent out to some journalists and other people today, so maybe we could see that right now.
And you got to think really, if this works, that this is potentially good for...
We have something you really have to see and touch. That is it. That's the invite.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That's really cool. They do it in style,
simple,
don't
classic,
they?
right?
Classic Apple, and there's a little corner of it, so you get a tease. It's shiny as usual. It's glossy. You excited, Ian?
They don't even have to do any marketing.
Well, I mean, it's always Apple product events are something they're quite an event to be at, and there's been a lot of attention on this. There's been a lot of interest, and especially because the tablet market has been so hard for all the competitors. I know that over in Barcelona, Samsung executive had said that they're having trouble, and they're widely considered to be one of the better selling tablets. And so it'll be interesting to see whether or not Apple can really keep their momentum going. So far, they've taken the tablet market by storm, and not to mention that this is going to be their product launch. Presumably, if they keep on their annual upgrade cycle, this will be the last product, the last iPod they put out before Windows 8 comes out. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of answer all of these questions about, what's the holiday season going to be looking like? Which, oddly enough, here we are in February, we're already talking about it, right?
Yeah. Wow. The Samsung acknowledgement was really interesting. I agree.
We have to leave it there, and I'm sad they didn't take me up on my offer to actually do the unveiling of the new iPad on digits. But next year, maybe. Thank you very much, Ian Scher of Dow Jones Newswire.